Good morning, folks. Welcome back to Broken Pines Farm. My name's Alex, and I want to wish from me and my family to yours a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Hope you had a great time during the holidays. Now, Mother Nature has been somewhat kind to us. As you can see, beginning of January, there's barely any snow, which is completely unusual. We had a very, very green Christmas and New Year's Day, which is strange, but I shall not waste that opportunity. I'll go show you what the goal is for today, but if you're new to the channel, you probably haven't seen my Eiglin 3501 winch. I've used it quite a bit. I've owned it now for a year and a half. Just a quick backstory. There was a big windstorm, lost thousands of trees. Well, thousands is maybe a bit of much. Hundreds. You can see maybe some wood piles behind me that all came from the windfalls associated with that storm. And there were a couple that were precariously hanging in very dangerous areas around path, around the driveway, and around the house. So I had to get an easy way to get that down. And I looked into a winch for a car, but it wouldn't really work for the truck. And the other problem was the reach of the cable was usually very short. Usually we're talking about 50 to 75 feet. In this case, this is 165 feet, so it's a much safer pull. There was also an option. I think it's like a drawbar. I'll put some pictures. It's like a drawbar you put on a 3-point hitch, and it has a 2-inch receiver. So there was a way to kind of jerry-rig a regular car winch in that receiver on a 3-point hitch on the back of the tractor. It was very sketch. Price-wise, we were getting up there, and I started looking at forestry winches, and I found this one. I was also looking at the Wallenstein, but for the price and the pull capacity, this one was very similar to the Wallenstein equivalent while being almost $1,200 cheaper. So I dealt with Kevin from Farmer Equipment Sales. Great guy to deal with, very quick to response. It came very well packaged, shipped to a warehouse near me where I could pick it up. Good prices. I was very happy with that. And today, Kevin was nice enough to send me a self-releasing snatch block. And I'll show you the difference between a regular snatch block, which you have to open up, pass your cable, tie up, versus a self-releasing, and how much nicer this is, and why I'll be using this today. But first, let me show you what we're up against. All right, welcome to the area where I draw all my maple sap from. Every tree that has an orange bend on it is a tree that I tap. And you'll see that in that middle, there's a couple branches. They came from a maple that fell down during that windstorm that I really wanted to preserve. But those branches were just too small to save. Now the problem is when snow gets packed on top of that, and in March, when we start tapping trees and I'm walking on there, it becomes very dangerous because you're walking and suddenly your foot just goes through because there's not as much resistance where the branches are, and you're carrying 5-gallon buckets full of sap. So that's, was it 40 pounds a bucket basically? And you have one on both sides, you're taking a step, you fall through. Quite dangerous. So what I want to do is I want to get those out of here. I could cut them with a chainsaw, hand bomb them, but when you have a tractor and a winch, might as well use equipment to our advantage. So I could do a straight pull with that one from the tractor straight back, but the other ones are not in a good enough position to do that. So what I'll do is I'll set up a snatch block on one of the big maples. I can do a side pull, and with the self-release, it'll be able to bring it back towards the tractor without me having to intervene. At least that's the goal. And here's a closer look at the winch. If you look, I'll try to put a card up here. There's a video I did of the winch explaining how it works. So this is compatible with the category 1 or category 2. You just flip the pins, flip those pins for the bigger hole. There is a rope that comes with here, so you can flip it. So this is like the open position. That's the lock position for the drum. So that means I can pull out the cable now versus it locked. You can pull from 2 different heights. So there's the high, which rotates, and you can put that pulley there also for a lower pull. This part at the bottom, the goal is to wedge it in the ground or against a stump to try and reduce the stress on the tractor. You can also put your choker chains in there if you want. And you can also remove this pin, and that will let the thing flip in case you need it to move. There's a nice little spot basket to put our things. Here's the rope you pull to activate when it's running. And last time I used this, I didn't have my modification that allowed me to run the PTO without me being in the tractor, so I'm quite excited to use that fix, because if you have a Kubota Grand L series, so this is a L4060 with the air ride seat, there is a little weirdness where you can't run the PTO if you're not sitting, so I created a little fix. There's a video also you can check out. All right, so you need a way to anchor whichever pulley you're using around a tree. I use this strap so I don't damage the tree. You could also use a choker chain. We'll see. Ooh, just big enough. I have a shackle to hold everything in place. Now, if you were to use the self-release that comes from Eigelin itself, there is a place where you can use the choker chain to hold it in place against the tree if you wanted. So that'd be a lot faster, but I don't want to damage the tree. So what I do is I use a shackle. So in regular times, if I'm using this regular pulley, what I have to do is open the pulley, take my chain, pass it in, close the pulley, and come back here, get into the shackle. You don't have to screw it super tight, just enough that it holds. And there you are. Now the downside of this is when you're pulling and it comes back here, there's no way for this to come out. So you're gonna have to stop what you're doing, come back here, remove everything, and then you continue to pull. Versus the self-releasing, which has a little nub in here to hold everything. You pass your cord, you hold it, and once your hook comes to the pulley, it'll knock itself out and it will jump out of the groove by itself and self-release itself. So I don't have to actively be here to release it. And if you're wondering what this is used in case the cable was to snap. This would absorb the whipping effect. So it keeps me safe. Mind you, I'm very far from everything on the tractor when I'm pulling. And just like so. Let's go hook it up to some wood. Wow, that released really well. And now it made the corner. And all I have to do is drive forward the tractor. And I've got my branch. I mean, obviously this works. But when you're by yourself, the self-releasing just makes your job so much easier. All right, let me pull a couple more and then we'll talk about it. right, there we go. This is one of those jobs that's a pain in the butt, but I'll be very thankful come March time and maple sap, maple syrup season that I've actually taken the time to do this. On the plus side, this wood is extremely dry, so I can use it to boil sap. So I can use maple to boil maple. Ooh. There's nothing wrong with that, it's just kind of weird because you're using a tree to boil a tree. Anyways, once again, the tractor performed beautifully. That modification I did where I can use the PTO without me being in the seat or without putting a weight on the seat. Very, very, very practical. The winch hasn't been on the channel, I think, in a year almost. It's just nice to be able to pop it on and use it. The other great thing about that winch is it's a great counterweight. It's, I think, around 550 pounds, and it is so compact behind the tractor, and it lifts off so high. It just makes it very maneuverable and acts as a great counterweight. All right, thank you so much, guys, for watching. If you've liked it, make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe for more content. I got other projects in the works. I have been working, last set of brakes I had to change rear wheel hub on a Crosstrek. And if you don't know about rear wheel hubs slash bearings on Crosstreks that live in Saltland, yeah, that was a fun one. But I'm glad it's done. The car is safe again. I just didn't film it because it's not really the type of content I put on here. I'm no mechanic. I'm just some Joe that smashed something with a hammer until it came out. But now it's all fixed and all pretty. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend. Take care.